Before I start this video, let me just point out that this is the first video I am recording with the new Canon EOS 600D, so I apologise if there are any issues with lighting and audio, etc. I may have to tweak things. Onto the video, you may have seen the recent unboxing of the new Retina Display MacBook Pro, which is this. It's a Mac, so obviously it cost a lot of money, and for a lot of money I expected a perfect laptop, but I didn't get that. I've had a couple of problems with it. Apple's customer service has been okay, not great, not £2,000 great. So, first problem, one of the keys is broken. Simple problem, the U key in fact. Got it out of the box, opened it up, noticed that it was sticking up a bit, and upon closer inspection it is broken and needs fixing. I'll talk a bit more about that later. The other problem, plug in an external monitor and everything looks horrible when you use HDMI or mini DisplayPort. Specifically the Dell U2410 uses mini DisplayPort to DisplayPort, the big version of it. It's hard to describe the problem. The best way I can put it is it looks like the resolution is wrong, but it's not, don't worry, I've checked that. And I'm not the only person with this problem, it seems. If you have a look at discussions.apple.com, I'm not just reading my needs, I have a laptop here. Lots of people are experiencing the same issue as me with both the new Retina Display MacBook Pro and the new MacBook Air. It's the 2012 model. So the first post in this thread says that things work on an external monitor except for the colours and contrast being terrible. Any colour grey on a white background doesn't even seem to render. And loads of people have replied saying, yeah, I've got that problem as well. And everyone is having the same experience, the same as what I had. So I'm just going to talk you through it. This is just a ranting video basically. So I phoned Apple, as you would do if you've got problems with your new Mac. First I spoke to some American lady, but got cut off, and she phoned back and then got cut off again, and she didn't bother phoning back. So I got someone else to phone me, and this guy was Irish. So I had a nice Irish guy talking to me, so I spent 20 minutes, half an hour on the phone to him. He kept putting me on hold, going away to research the problem. I'm not sure exactly what he did, because he came back with no information every time. At one point, he started to just think I was being stupid. He wouldn't acknowledge that this was a widespread problem. So after he got me to turn it off and on again, he got to a point where I was like, can I ask what you're expecting out of this laptop? Obviously the Retina display has a higher resolution, so you can't expect that out of your monitor. So I explained that I wanted it to work and look right, look as good as it does on my iMac and Mac Mini. So he got nowhere, it was a waste of time. He told me to take it to an Apple store instead, so I took it there. And that's a long drive. There aren't any Apple stores really close to me. So I got to the Apple store, I had an appointment, but I had to sit around and just wait for someone to be available. It was pointless making an appointment. So I spoke to someone there, he looked at the key and was like, yeah, the key's broken, I agree with you there. So that was one good thing. Stupidly, they don't have spare keys for the new MacBooks. They don't have spare keyboards, they don't have spare anything. They have to replace the whole thing because the little bit of plastic on the bottom of the U key is broken. You'd think they'd just have a box of spare keys to pop it off, put a new one on, there you go. But no, need to replace the whole MacBook. And the monitor problem, same experience as everybody else has had. He brings out an Apple Cinema display, or whatever they call them these days, and tries it with that with Thunderbolt, and it works fine. They're not going to sell a laptop that doesn't work with their own monitor, so no problem there. And I said, okay, that looks right, but that doesn't solve my problem. It still doesn't work on my monitor. And similarly, he assumed I was being stupid, or there was something wrong with the monitor or the cable. And they're like, no, I've tried the monitor on many computers, I've tried this on a few monitors, I've tried loads of different cables, and loads of people have the same problem. I couldn't get him to look at the forum, he just refused. I told him many times and he just acted like I hadn't said that, just so he could avoid acknowledging that this was a big problem. So then he said, okay, I'll try it on a different monitor. The only other monitors they have in Apple stores are massive TVs, so he comes out with this 40-inch TV. So they've got that, or a cinema display, and apart from that they've got nothing, which seems a bit stupid in a computer shop, even though it's Apple. Yeah. So he comes out with this huge TV, plugs in with HDMI, everything looks horrible, but it's a 40-inch TV, so what do you expect? So that didn't prove anything, because I accepted that on a 40-inch TV it wouldn't look good anyway. So he didn't accept there was a problem. It worked for him, therefore it was fine. But his conclusion was, it works with Apple's display and we can't guarantee compatibility with third-party products. So I had no argument after that. When you're spending this much on a computer, you want better service than that, but I couldn't do anything about it. So I had to phone Apple again to arrange for them to replace this one. He couldn't do it in the store, so that was another phone call to Apple. So they're going to come and take this one away, then give me a new one. I think I'll go a few days without a MacBook altogether. I'm hoping this problem won't exist on the new one, but judging by the internet, it seems to be a pretty widespread problem. So I'm not getting my hopes up. But I've heard that it will work with a mini DisplayPort to DVI adapter. The genius in the Apple store told me that using an adapter will make no difference, and there is no way Apple would provide that for me, so I'll have to pay for that myself. And they're over £20 for an adapter. And then finally the genius told me that if it doesn't work with the monitors that I have, then maybe the MacBook Pro isn't for me and I should return it and buy a different Mac. So I was annoyed with that outcome. I got absolutely nowhere. But clearly there is a fault with the new MacBooks. I'm surprised Apple haven't done something about it. I'm surprised they've released them without finding this fault, because plenty of people have found it instead, and if they keep selling more of these, it's going to be a big problem for them. If I can't use an external monitor with a MacBook, then I don't think I want it at all. And if the problem exists with the MacBook Air as well, I've got no choice, so I wouldn't want a Mac anymore. So I'll get this sent back, see what the next one's like, then try an adapter if that doesn't work. I'm just surprised that Apple are prepared to replace a whole computer for one broken key, but when it comes to giving me a really cheap adapter for free, they'd rather I returned the computer for a full refund. It's been over 5 months since I recorded the beginning of this video. I'm now at university, second term of university. 5.5 months later, it still has the same problem with the monitor. Apple did in fact come and take away the MacBook Pro and give me a replacement because of the broken key. I did have to go a few days without a laptop at all. Some more details about the problem. Turns out that it's just a software problem, because if you dual boot into Windows, it works fine. Microsoft have got the drivers right, Apple just need to do the same thing. They're not bothering. I did buy a Thunderbolt to DVI adapter, and it does work with that, despite what the genius told me in the Apple store. I'm still following the thread on the Apple discussions website, and hundreds of people since I recorded the beginning of this video have said that they have the same problem. So hopefully Apple will fix this soon, but it's not looking very likely anymore. At least I got the problem with the broken U key solved. So that didn't prove anything. He wasted his time bringing that out. The microphone just fell down.